I'm out for a walk right now and we actually woke up to snow this morning. It will probably disappear in like 2 hours and I kind of hope it does because I do have a run to go on, so hopefully it will not be too slippery. But yeah, it's January. I'm still having a little bit of trouble waking up and actually motivating myself to like get out of bed and do stuff. But from this weekend we're actually gonna change that again because we're gonna do some goal setting, make a vision board and just kind of motivate ourselves for the new year and just do things that will help me with all of those routines and structures and everything like that. So yeah, currently on a very crispy morning walk. It's sunny, which it hasn't really been recently, so that has been nice. And yeah. Sunday morning, we actually woke up to snow again, which I find snow really fun because it barely actually ever snows here. But for today it's not ideal because we have a running race today. There's this 10K race in my hometown that I'm gonna run today, and I'm actually really, at this point I'm really nervous. I am quite excited. I wasn't excited at all at first, but honestly right now I'm like, the snow is actually kind of a vibe. They're not 100% sure that it's gonna like actually start in like 10 minutes. It's gonna snow again and then they'll like look at the conditions, but I really hope we are still able to run because at this point I just want to run it. And my original goal is to finish within an hour because last year I ran it in an hour and like 30 seconds I think, because that was also just my first official like running thing, and I know that I definitely should be able to run it within an hour because I've done that like multiple times before. But my actual goal kind of is within 57 minutes because that's my PB, but I actually don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but I really hope I am. But if it's within the hour, it's still good. So we'll see, especially in this like weather condition, we'll see how that goes. But it's very white and snowy outside, which I think is so like wintry and like nice for this time of year. Anyways, yesterday I wrote down all my goals for the year in a cafe and it was actually really wholesome. I started off by myself kind of brainstorming all of like my ideas and like different areas of my life, and then I turned those into a couple of goals and some habits and intentions for the year. And then in my notes app I also made like kind of steps of action for all of the goals, so I can actually work on doing anything about these, because last year I did set goals and never looked at it again, and this year I want to do that differently. I don't think I want to share all of these goals right now because I also do feel like there's something nice and special about just working on these for yourself and then you can achieve them without actually telling everyone, because I feel like you can also jinx it when you talk about it for too much. Those goals kind of have to do with like my work and my own socials and like money. I'm gonna keep those private for now, but the other ones I will tell you, because the first one is run a half marathon. I didn't really know if I wanted to do this, but I feel like it's a good goal for my running. For this I obviously have to follow like an actual training schedule, which I haven't been doing at all basically ever, so that's something that I really need to do because my training is like all over the place and so inconsistent. I don't know which one. It's probably just gonna be one in the Netherlands, or maybe after that my goal can be to run one abroad if I like it, of course. But my other goal is going on a solo trip, because I actually went on 3 solo trips last year and it was the best thing ever. I absolutely love solo trips, so I definitely want to go on one this year. The other one is read 10 books, which is basically 1 book a month, which I feel like if I make reading a priority, that should be doable. 10 books for me right now is a lot of books because I barely ever read, but we're just gonna make it a habit and make it a priority so we can actually reach that goal. So yeah, right now I'm gonna get ready for the race. I really don't know what to wear because I feel like it's gonna be so freezing cold, but I guess we're just gonna make it work. I just finished making my vision board for the year, and I kind of wanted it to align obviously with all of the goals that I set. And I also I haven't finished this because I am still a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my journal. That's something I need to stop doing, but I started writing down kind of steps of action for the goals. I think I talked about this before, but I also made a Notion page today, and in that page I also want to try and do some sort of monthly goals, and then in those monthly goals make the steps of action even smaller so you can actually kind of divide them over the months. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like putting everything into a lot smaller boxes is gonna help me actually do something, because right now if I think oh, I want to run a half marathon, I can't suddenly run a half marathon. I have to do it in baby steps. So I feel like doing it this way is better for me, so that's what I'm gonna try and do. About the race, I hit APV, which I was actually so happy with. I genuinely did not think that I was gonna hit the 10k within the 57 minutes, because I just have not been consistent with running since the summertime. And even when I did run, I ran a lot slower paces than I was running before. I honestly don't know why, but all out of a sudden I was just kind of out of my game. But I did try and do more intervals recently, so kind of the few runs that I did go on were mostly intervals, which I feel like maybe helped a bit. So I kind of had a plan to start pretty slow but try and get into a pace that is comfortable but also fast enough to hit my goal. But I knew with all of the busyness and the chaos that the first kilometer I was gonna run faster than I would have wanted to. I did try to go slow, but I think the first kilometer ended up being 5:30 pace. So after that I was I need to go a bit slower, but I also don't want to go too slow because then I will not get back into it. So I continued running a 5:40, 5:45 pace until 7 kilometers, and I actually ran with my friend from handball, which was really fun. And then around 7 kilometers I was so determined to get my goal because I knew I could go a little bit faster. I just didn't know how fast, and I just really wanted to hit it, and I was very motivated. So at 7 I told my friend that I was gonna try and speed up. So I actually did speed up for the last 3 kilometers, and in the last one I even did a little sprint. I think it was a 5:16 pace, which is honestly so fast, especially for the last kilometer. But when I finished, my time was 56:07, and my original PB was 57:07, so it was a whole minute faster, and I was so happy. I'm gonna go do my skincare and do a little bit of reading before I go to sleep. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night.